All right, there we go. We're good. What's up, man? How we doing? Happy Friday.
Doing good. Just got 90 on a test, so going into the weekend strong.
There you go. We're gonna get you on the right side of these games, man. I think I'm rooting for you.
Eventually, man. Oh.
I feel like I'm rooting for you just as much. Probably rooting for you more than you're rooting for yourself. But all right, well, let's just go through it. There was 5 games last week. It was 2 and 3. Which one bothered you the most?
Fucking Kansas, because I go into that game, I'm like, Jalen Daniels is really good, and he was for 3 quarters. And then I fucking meltdown of the century out of them. Missouri stayed steady, won, and then of course they fucking covered too after losing most of the game. So like that game, like I had written off. I was like, Kansas at the least will cover, and they don't even do that. So that was great, but.
Clemson didn't cover as well. There was a rain delay. They just never really got going against Detroit.
Yeah, no, I think Clemson I look at as kind of, I mean, I know it's too early to tell. Teams can turn it around, obviously, but this current iteration of Clemson is not a team I look at with a ton of confidence, honestly. Cade Klubnik doesn't look good. He didn't take a step forward.
Yeah.
I am kind of on a fade Clemson train at this point. It's kind of like they have to prove me wrong at this point. And I really low on them right now.
Did hit on what were the couple games that you hit on?
Illinois, and again, like I'm with my coming up picks and stuff, like I'm kind of trying to stay with the same teams because it makes it easier because you can keep watching them in and out, keeping track of them. Illinois looks fucking amazing. Like they legitimately to me look like maybe the second or third best team in the Big Ten right now. They've looked incredible. The defense looks really strong. The offense looks like shockingly dynamic for an Illinois offense. To go into Duke and just completely take care of business, I'm really high on Illinois.
And then Indiana, they covered. They bounced back for you. And then the Ole Miss game, that was a gut punch as they want to take us through the end of that game.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped paying attention to that at that point, honestly. I was more invested in other stuff. I realized Kansas was blowing it too. Stop scoring. Ole Miss just kind of stopped scoring, and it's just Kentucky. I don't know how you do that to a Kentucky team that wasn't really particularly impressed by either. From what I saw, they didn't look super special, and they kind of lost the crowd a little bit. And then Ole Miss stopped being able to play. I saw some horrible picks in that game that were just killing me the whole time, like bad passing.
The killer field goal at the end of the game to cover the spread. It was just.
I didn't realize there was a field goal. Are you?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you knew. That's what I. Okay,
no, yeah. No, that one makes me more mad now. Okay.
All right, well, either way, we're turning the page. Let's bounce back. Let's move forward. It's a week. So last week there was really no marquee games until the Oklahoma-Michigan game at the end of the night. Oklahoma pretty much dominated that game. Wasn't very competitive. The big upset last week was Florida lost to South Florida. How exactly did that happen? And then spin that forward for me for this week because Florida is going to play LSU in the nightcap. Then South Florida is going to play Miami. Either one of those, one of your games for the week?
Yes. Yeah. Florida is. I think look, this Florida team is looking. I wanted consistency out of them for them to be successful. I don't think it's there. South Florida looks really good. They've killed Boise State, and again, beating Florida is like something truly special. Miami's a big test for them. That's a game like if you have a really good feeling on South Florida going into it, they could win it. They look like a very real team. Florida, to me, it just looked like, again, inconsistency. DJ Lagway still isn't like this stable beat presence at quarterback. He's a little all over the place, and Florida, it doesn't really feel like Billy Napier's ever really had control of the program, and maybe it's his fault, maybe it's not. But they've underperformed every year. This is a game they couldn't afford to lose with how hard their schedule gets. They need to be winning their out-of-conference games, and they lose one. But I think that is the kind of like punch in the mouth that you will see like a really good like bounce back from.
So we'll save Florida for your picks. But talk to me about South Florida. They're getting 17.5 points against Miami. That seems like a ridiculous amount. No?
It does. I think the main thing driving that line is that Miami looked so good against Notre Dame. Like, I get Notre Dame came back, but I was watching that whole game. It felt like Notre Dame came back off of one misplay on defense that just got someone open. I didn't feel like it was really like Miami ever struggled defensively. It was just one really bad play, got some confidence into the Notre Dame offense. But the line, I think, so high simply because like South Florida is so unproven. Miami, it feels like is kind of the real deal, is legit. It's a game I'm staying away from simply because like South Florida has like leveled up their competition week after week and they've crushed it every single week. If they keep doing it, they're going to be a great team this season, but this is definitely like the apex, I feel like, for them. How good really is this South Florida team?
Right. They beat Boise State outright. Then they beat Florida outright. All right. Any other marquee games that you're staying away from?
Yeah, Notre Dame, Texas A&M is one I don't really want to touch.
6.5 points, right?
Yeah, it's 6.5. It's at Notre Dame. It's in South Bend. Obviously, Notre Dame A&M last year was a pretty gross game. If you watched it, it just wasn't fun. A&M's quarterback looked so nervous. Notre Dame didn't really look super dynamic. I need Notre Dame to show me Jeremiah Love. Like, I need to see them use him more because, like, from what I heard from my buddy who's a Notre Dame fan, apparently they didn't want to let CJ Carr drop back that much because if you give him the chance to throw the ball, he's just going to sling it deep. So that's why you saw a lot of like super designed like short passes and stuff. That's where their offense looked really flat. So they were scared with CJ Carr just like simply unleashing it every single play. In my opinion, if you don't want him to unleash it every single play, you hand it off to your probably the best running back in college football. They didn't do that. I need them to show me more of that against A&M. A&M should have a great defensive line. A&M does look good. I like Marcel Reed as a quarterback. It's an interesting game. It's one that I definitely will watch for enjoyment more than watch with like money on it because, again, really scary, two teams in interesting spots. I can see Notre Dame losing it. I can see them winning by 2 touchdowns and, again, vice versa.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see it be 6.5 points. Seems like that's a little much. But okay. Any other marquee games that you're staying away from?
I think that's it. Unless like Wisconsin, Alabama should be an interesting game.
20 points.
And it was obviously one last year. I think I stayed away from it last year too. Very similar situation to last year. I think Bama was coming off a rough USF game last year. Went into Wisconsin, handled business. Does feel like maybe Alabama does that again, tries to like keep the momentum rolling, but it's one I just, again, watch for enjoyment, see if Bama looks anything better than they did against Florida State. Because again, I think they played a game last week. I know that if they did, it didn't matter. They need to play against a real Power 4 team to like kind of win my trust back, especially going into the Georgia game.
Yeah. So what about tonight? Any what we got? Syracuse is a big favorite. Indiana's a big favorite. Colorado, Houston. I didn't even know they were playing tonight.
And that's the interesting one because Colorado has gone to the 3rd string quarterback. They've passed Julian Lewis. I think they benched Caden Salter. He got hurt. 3rd string guys came out of nowhere. He looked really good in their game last week. I think it'll be an interesting game. Again, Houston's normally pretty steady, so it should be a fun one at least. But
I was gonna say, is Houston 4.5 point favorite? I thought Houston's usually not very good.
They're like, I mean, they're what was his name back in the day? They had Case Keenum back in the day. It was Tom Herman was the coach who ended up going to Texas right before Sarkisian. Really great offensive coach. So they've always been like pretty good offensively. Obviously, also like Ed Oliver came out of Houston. They've produced pretty decent like NFL talent consistently. I think it'll be
Ed Oliver. Now's not a time for an Ed Oliver reference. Isn't that the son of a bitch that knocked the ball out of Henry's hands on Sunday night?
It probably was. Honestly, it probably was. Yeah.
Thanks. Anyway, all right. Kansas State, Arizona. What's that? What's the deal in Arizona? They were supposed to be good last year, and they were terrible. Arizona State ended up being good. What's the deal in Arizona? And then what's the deal with Kansas State? Because you like them in week 1. They're 1-2 now. That seems like a good game.
I think it is. I think it's one of those games you look at and you're like, this again. The Big 12 is like, it's a crapshoot every year, pretty much. You don't know who's going to win it. If you're trying to like handicap the Big 12, you're kind of talking out of your ass. Like if someone told you that Arizona State was going to win it all last year, you wouldn't look at them with any validity. Again, I think the Big 12 is a division to watch, especially early on, to see if you can get some good value just by seeing, do they play polished football? Because like they're going to lose games. The winner of the Big 12 is going to come out with like a 9-3 record. They're going to make the college football playoff and stuff. They won't have this insane record. They will lose games, but they're always incredible games to watch. Super back and forth, super dynamic. For that one, again, I'm going to keep rolling with Kansas State. I love Kansas State. I love Avery Johnson. I think he's super fun to watch. I think he was really he's not been given a lot of like support around him this year. It's been really tough to see, but I think he's so special. I got to count on him to keep kind of bringing him back.
Alrighty, sounds good. I'm gonna watch this Colorado Houston game. I haven't watched Colorado the first couple of games, so looking forward to that. And what else? Let's go. Let's go to your games. We'll do all your games. If something else comes to my brain, we'll do
Yeah.
it after. But yeah, shoot me. How many games is the total?
So I got 5 again. I have 5 again. Again, sticking to some of the same teams because I feel like my reads have been pretty right outside of a couple teams, but at the same time, like there's just been like, again, it's football, shit happens. So I kick Kansas is done. Can't kick Kansas to the side. They can respectfully go away. But I've stuck with some of the originals. I have Illinois minus 27.5 against Western Michigan. Again, this team looks real. I love them. I think they're going to be great. I think it's pretty straightforward. Western Michigan is 0-2. They're coming into Memorial Stadium in Illinois. It's a home game. I think they beat Western Illinois by like 70. So I feel pretty good about them being able to handle Western Michigan.
Not a trap game. They got Indiana the following week.
I don't think so at all. I think this is a Western Michigan team they could probably beat with their eyes closed with the way they've been playing, with the way that offense has been running. I think it should be pretty straightforward for them. Also, like, again, Luke Altmaier, beast. I'll save one of these because I'm excited about talking about it. I like Georgia Tech to cover. I was able to get him at 3.5. I know it's 2.5 somewhere. Don't like Clemson. I've seen 2 weeks of Clemson. I haven't seen anything good, and I've seen 2 weeks of Georgia Tech, and I've seen a lot of good. Georgia Tech's looked really, really solid, really steady. I love the way they play offense. They know how to stay ahead of the sticks. They know how to just keep pushing it down the field, and the defense is strong. Clemson has looked like they don't know what they're doing. They're all over the place. Caden Klubnik has not looked good.
What's the home field advantage though? Is there a crowd there at noon?
That's the thing, is there is now. Like, Tech's kind of building it up. There's a big diehard Tech fan base that exists. They were good last year. They're building on it into this year. It should be super loud there. And again, you have a team on the road favored by like less than a touchdown. It's one of those scary lines where people are going to bet on Clemson because they're ranked and they're Clemson. Yeah. When really, in my opinion, I think the good value money is on Tech.
There was a time where Clemson at noon on the road was an automatic loss.
Yeah.
Then they got over the hump in the Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson era. But there was a time where Clemson would always lose on the road. Like, if they were a noon favorite on the road, yeah. So I like that. All right, what's the third one?
Third one is Ohio State, and this game I love. I cannot believe this line. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You're getting them against an Ohio team that is, again, beaten West Virginia, lost by 1 possession to Rutgers, but you're getting them at 29.5 at home against Ohio University. I think that's a stupid line. This team is good. Ohio State's been known to simply just blow the brakes off of these bad teams, beat them by 70 in the past. I get Julian saying it's been a little hit or miss, but they have Jeremiah Smith still. They have running backs. They should beat them by 30.
Why only 29.5? What's the devil advocate? Is Ohio decent?
Well, I mean, the issue is, like, I can't tell you, and that is the one scary part about it, is I think what the logic is that Ohio State they've been a more defensively oriented team early this year. But that being said, they did also just beat Grambling State by 70. So,
yeah, I was going to say they won last week by a gazillion points. Right?
I think the logic here is Ohio has been able to hang with Power 4 teams the first 2 weeks of the season. They've shown they can do it, but they have not played a team anywhere close to an Ohio State, and that's very important here. Ohio State doesn't just get on top of you and just like coast like Georgia's been known to do. Ohio State will just keep going because their backups can still destroy your starters. And I think you'll see that happen, even if they pull like Julian saying early, which I don't think they should do. I think he should play a lot of the game to get experience. I think they're just going to pound them. I don't think Ohio's even going to score, honestly, with how good Ohio State's defense looks this year. I think you're really betting on Ohio State to score 35 points, and they should score 35 points in this matchup.
Got it. Next one.
Next one, yeah, I touched on it earlier. I really do like Florida against LSU here. I think it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Touchdown line. I know it's in LSU. It's a weird game. This feels just like upset city to me. This feels like Florida bounces back from a horrible game and comes in super motivated, knowing they need to win, and just crushes it. And, like, again, I like LSU as a team. I think they've looked good. Do I think they're the third best team in the country? No. I think that defense can still be exposed. And I think DJ Lagway is a dynamic enough quarterback to do that. Very similar to my read with Cade Klubnik, but I think DJ Lagway's, I don't know if I think he's better, but I think he can play better than Klubnik did in week 1.
You liked Florida before the year in this game. I would argue this was probably like a pick'em spread, maybe even, I don't know, because before the season started, Florida was supposed to be 2-0 for this game. LSU was supposed to be 1-1. So if you did like Florida before, sounds like you're on the fade Clemson bandwagon at all costs. So we're not going to count the LSU win. We're going to go Florida. I like it. I like in the rivalry game to take the underdog or to not take anything. I would stay away from LSU -7 in that scenario. Interesting, the line's that high. I wonder if it comes down. But all right, you got Illinois, Georgia Tech, Ohio State, Florida, and what's the fifth
The
one?
last one, the one I am most happy about. I am in a situation this week where I get to hedge my happiness a little bit, and I get to go with Tennessee to cover. This line on my book moved to +4 right before I made my pick. If you can get it at +4, I think the value is there for Tennessee because I think they can cover that, and I think they can outright win. I get that people love to talk historics. Georgia hasn't lost to Tennessee in, I think, 8 years or something like that. Unfortunately, I'm basing my picks off of the sample size I've seen this year, and I have not seen a good Georgia football team this year, specifically offensively. Tennessee's looked like business as usual on offense. The defense has looked fine. It's looked good enough. Georgia, in that Austin Peay game, and I get the playbook's smaller, you're limiting it, whatever. They didn't look that good. This is a one-possession game all day. I can't believe this line opened at 6.5, truthfully. I wish I'd gotten it when it was 6.5 because that was nuts. But I still think there's value at 4. I think if you want to sprinkle like half a unit on Tennessee money line, I don't think it's a bad idea.
Really?
It's in Knoxville. Georgia doesn't look that good.
I can't believe you're doing this. Or you're being serious.
I am. And the main reason I am too is this feels a lot like Georgia, Alabama from last year, where Georgia gets punched in the mouth, then gets it going and starts rolling. I don't think Georgia loses to Alabama at home. I don't think that happens. But I do think Georgia loses 2 times this year, and I think this can very easily be one of those times.
What's the read on the quarterback from Tennessee?
He's looked incredible. I feel like an idiot week 1 coming out saying this dude's a bum when I've watched him be as dynamic as Nico was. He's passed so incredibly well. I mean, his Eastern Tennessee numbers are stupid, and granted, it's Eastern Tennessee, but if you go back to the Syracuse game, he was running well. He's been hyper efficient, hasn't thrown a pick yet. I mean, the guy's very real. The offense, again, moves super quick. Georgia can obviously keep up with that tempo, but like this is a quarterback that like he's dynamic enough as a runner that the Georgia man coverage with the blitzes, it doesn't really help. They cannot really contain these athletic quarterbacks that are pass first but can get mobile, like a Bryce Young, Jackson Dart. He feels like that kind of mold. I think the run game will be very, very, very important for Tennessee here, and I think they're going to be able to pass enough. It could be a shootout, but I simply put, again, we're going off matchups. I think Tennessee's offense is a little above Georgia's defense. I think Tennessee's defense is much closer to Georgia's offense.
Really? You're betting, though? You're actually going to bet on Tennessee?
I will send you the slip.
That's unbelievable. How are you going to watch the game, though? Like, what does that even mean?
It's a win-win or a lose-lose. If Georgia wins, I lose a little bit of money. Tennessee wins and Georgia loses, at least I make a little bit of money.
I cannot believe that's a serious thing. Well, you know what? To each his own. But yeah, you go to Georgia. You're going to watch the game with all your friends.
I was in attendance last time Georgia lost to Tennessee. That was my first ever game. It was the Hail Mary. I've been seeing clips of it everywhere on Instagram. It's been fucking killing me. But
you've been in this anti-Gunnar Stockton camp from the beginning. So I shouldn't be super shocked.
And also, like, I would love someone to prove me wrong on that. Show me a clip of this guy doing something at a high level that isn't running into someone and getting his helmet knocked off. Simply put, I like my quarterbacks to pass. No disrespect whatsoever, but that's the way I'm feeling right now, honestly.
All right, so Illinois, Georgia Tech, Ohio State, Florida, and Tennessee. Those are your 5. Staying away from the Notre Dame, Texas A&M game. Staying away from Alabama, Wisconsin. Games tonight should be pretty interesting. Anything surprised you in week 1 of the NFL? Or what surprised you? Something's happened.
I'm a Bears fan. I'm a Falcons fan. Both lost, but I was very, very, very happy with what I saw from both of my teams. I thought the Bears looked great for 3 quarters and then pretty awful for one. I thought Michael Penix Jr. looked incredible for the Falcons. I think there were just some bad decision making, some bad going for it right near the line, some obviously really bad kicking. But they both look good, and I really liked what I saw. I think the Ravens probably look like the best team in the AFC. Realistically, they lose the game, but obviously, from what I saw last week, I think they played the best. Bad defense in the fourth. Again, these things happen. Unfortunately, I feel like it does happen with hardball teams more often than not. But I think they look the best, and I'm really interested in, again, Aaron Rodgers as a Steeler looked phenomenal. Justin Fields as a Jet looked phenomenal. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot to talk about going into this next week. Everyone's looked interesting. The best team in the NFC for now, like legitimately might be the Packers, which is a crazy thing to say, but that defense is the best one I've seen in a really, really long time.
Yeah, Packers are really good. I meant to talk about that when we first, excuse me, something stuck in my throat. When we first started, because the Packers just suffocated Washington yesterday. Just felt like the offensive line. I told you, Laremy Tunsil, like he
was bad. He was not good.
And he got a false start. At least got one of them. Anyway, he wasn't great. I think that there's betting on week 2 of the NFL. I was talking about it last night with my buddy Justin. You can't really overreact to week 1. Whatever you thought before the season, you should really stick with for the first couple of weeks. So, with that being said, good luck. I know we're a little tighter on time today, so I'll let you roll. But somehow enjoy the Georgia game tomorrow. I don't know exactly.
Hey, listen. It's hedging your happiness. I'm happy either way. I obviously want Georgia to win. That's why I'm not betting my entire life savings on Tennessee to cover this. But I think, in my opinion, just from a strictly analytical perspective, you want to put money on it. Tennessee at +4 is good value. I can very much see Georgia winning by a field goal.
Yeah, that's fair. Kirby would prefer 17-14 anyway.
Yeah, he would. I mean, yeah, if he could have it his way, we just win 3-0 every week, Quarterback would hand it off 50 times a game.
All right. Good luck. You'll have a winning week. I can feel it. So I'll see everybody on Sunday morning. And cool. All right. Have a good night. See you guys.
See you.